Have you ever wondered what it truly means when a man loves with his whole heart? Not just the surface kind of love, not just affection wrapped in routine, but the kind that transforms every touch, every word, every moment into something sacred. Deep down, we all crave this kind of connection, the kind that goes beyond physical attraction and into the soul. It's the love that makes you feel safe, valued, and seen. And yet, so many people go through life never experiencing it, never realizing that when a man chooses to love from the heart, he shows it in ways that are unmistakable. Think about this for a moment. Real love cannot be hidden. You feel it in the way someone looks at you, in the way they hold you when you're vulnerable, in the way they speak your name. It is more powerful than words, more lasting than gifts, more meaningful than promises. It's in the little things, the unspoken, the unnoticed, that true love reveals itself. And when a man loves from the heart, every action becomes a reflection of that truth. He is not perfect, but his love is honest, raw, and alive. Why does this matter so much? Because we live in a world where love is often confused with desire, where attention is mistaken for devotion, and where many hearts settle for less than they deserve. But when a man chooses to make love from the heart, everything changes. It becomes more than a physical connection. It becomes emotional, spiritual, unforgettable. It builds trust instead of fear, security instead of doubt, intimacy instead of distance. This is the kind of love that strengthens not only a relationship, but the very core of who you are. Imagine what it feels like to be cherished fully, to know that every kiss carries intention, that every embrace is meant to heal, that every moment of closeness is a declaration that you matter. When love flows from the heart, it lifts you higher. It makes you believe again in loyalty, in tenderness, in the beauty of two souls meeting as one. This is not just romance, it is transformation. It is the difference between being touched and being moved, between being wanted and being treasured. And here's the reward for staying with me. By the end of this journey, you will understand the 9 undeniable signs that reveal when a man is truly making love from his heart. These are not vague ideas or poetic phrases. They are real concrete actions that any person can recognize. They are the keys to knowing whether love runs deep, whether intimacy is genuine, and whether the connection you share is destined to last. These insights are not just for women seeking to understand men, but for men themselves. Men who want to love better, deeper, stronger. If you've ever questioned whether love in its purest form still exists, stay here. If you've ever doubted whether real intimacy can be felt beyond the surface, stay here. If you've ever longed for something more than just fleeting attraction, stay here. Because what follows is a path into the very heart of love, where intention meets action, where passion meets sincerity, and where every word, every touch, every gesture becomes a language of its own. This is where the story begins, not with desire, but with devotion. And once you see the signs, you will never look at love the same way again. When a man loves from the heart, the first thing you notice is how present he becomes. Presence is not about being in the same room. It is about being fully awake to you, fully attentive, fully engaged in the moment. He doesn't just hear your words. He listens to your soul. He doesn't just touch your body. He reaches into the core of your being and says without words, I am here and you are safe. This kind of presence is rare because it requires courage. It requires putting aside distractions, silencing the noise of the world, and choosing you above everything else. Presence is the antidote to loneliness. In a world where people feel unseen, unheard, and misunderstood, presence is the gift that heals. When a man makes love from his heart, he is not thinking about what comes next. He is not rehearsing what to say. He's not distracted by doubts or fears. He is anchored in you, in the moment, in the truth of connection. You feel it in the steadiness of his eyes, in the way his hand lingers not out of habit, but out of intention. This is how love speaks without sound. It declares devotion through undivided attention. Psychology has shown us that humans crave emotional attunement more than almost anything else. Babies cry not just for food, but for recognition. Adults long not just for affection, but for resonance, the deep sense that another person feels with them. Presence is what creates this resonance. When he's truly with you, your nervous system calms, your heart steadies, your fears soften. You are reminded that you are not alone. That is why this matters so much. When a man is present, he gives more than his time. He gives his essence. Think about how many relationships break because of absence. A body can be near, but the heart can be far away. Words can be spoken, but the meaning can be hollow. That is why presence is so powerful. It bridges the invisible gap. It turns time together into time remembered. It makes the smallest gestures, holding hands, resting in silence, sharing laughter, become timeless moments. Presence transforms ordinary minutes into sacred experiences. And when it comes from the heart, it becomes undeniable proof of love. This is where intimacy begins to take root. Because presence says, you matter more than my phone, more than my thoughts, more than my worries. You are my focus. That level of attention is not just romantic, it is transformational. It tells you that you are worthy of being fully seen, fully known, fully valued. And the truth is, once you've experienced it, you cannot mistake it for anything else. You know when someone is with you in body, but absent in spirit. You also know when someone is locked into your presence as if nothing else exists. That is the mark of love from the heart. When a man shows up this way, everything changes. He doesn't just make love, he creates it. He doesn't just connect, he fuses his energy with yours. In his presence, you feel more alive, more secure, more whole. And deep inside, you recognize this as the love you deserve, the love that makes every doubt fade. This is the foundation, the starting point of a love that endures, because true love born from the heart always begins with presence. When love flows from the heart, words are no longer thrown into the air without meaning. Every word becomes a vessel of intention, carrying weight, carrying truth, carrying care. A man who loves with his heart does not speak to impress, he speaks to affirm, to strengthen, to uplift. His words are not casual, they are chosen with awareness, because he knows that words can build or break, heal or wound, ignite trust or plant doubt. When he whispers, when he speaks gently, when he tells you that you are cherished, you feel it not as sound but as nourishment to the soul. This is one of the deepest ways love becomes visible, because communication reveals the inner world. What lives in the heart spills into language. When love is shallow, words are shallow. They flatter, they manipulate, they entertain. But when love is deep, words carry the weight of sincerity. You don't question them because they resonate with consistency. They are aligned with actions. They match the energy behind the touch, the gaze, the silence. True love from the heart is impossible to fake because it lives in every syllable, in every reassurance, in every soft "I'm here with you." Psychologists call this congruence, the alignment between what someone feels, says, and does. When a man is congruent, when his inner truth matches his outer expression, your heart rests. There is no double meaning, no mixed signals, no hidden agendas. This alignment creates safety, and safety is the soil in which passion can grow without fear. Because you cannot surrender, you cannot open yourself fully unless you feel safe. Words given with love create that safety. They remove doubt, they dissolve insecurities, they remind you that you are chosen and you are enough. Think about the way it feels when someone truly affirms your worth. It lights something within you. It strengthens your confidence. It fuels your spirit. It softens the weight of the world. That is what words from the heart do. They do not merely fill silence. They awaken light. They tell you that you are not invisible. They tell you that your presence matters. They tell you that you are worthy of devotion. And when a man speaks this way, it's not about poetry or performance. It's about truth spoken from love. Every healthy relationship needs this kind of communication because love without expression is fragile. Silence where words are needed creates distance, but words given with sincerity create bridges. They remind you that love is alive, that it is active, that it breathes between two souls. When a man makes love from the heart, his words are not routine phrases. They are invitations to deeper connection. They are reminders that intimacy is not only physical, but emotional and spiritual. When you hear him speak with intention, you feel safe to be vulnerable. You feel encouraged to open your heart wider. You trust more, you give more, you love more. His words become the rhythm that carries the relationship forward, guiding it, anchoring it, strengthening it. And with every expression, he shows that his love is not casual. It is deliberate. Because a man who loves from the heart understands that words are not just sounds. They are seeds. And when planted with care, they grow into unshakable trust, unbreakable closeness, and love that endures beyond time. Love that comes from the heart is not only spoken, it is shown through touch. Touch is the most primal form of communication, older than words, stronger than explanations. When a man loves with depth, his touch is never careless. It is mindful, intentional, filled with a silent message that says you are safe, you are valued, you are mine to cherish. Every embrace becomes more than physical contact. It becomes a transfer of energy, a reassurance that his love is not distant but alive in every gesture. Science reveals that human touch reduces stress, lowers fear, and creates bonds that words alone cannot. This is why a hug can heal more than an apology, why a hand on your shoulder can speak louder than promises, why holding hands can steady the storm inside your mind. When a man touches you from his heart, you feel it instantly. There is no rush, no emptiness, no agenda, only presence, only care, only the warmth of love moving through his fingertips. This kind of touch builds trust because it is consistent with intention. It does not take, it gives, it does not pressure, it reassures, it does not demand, it invites. You can feel the difference because your body responds not with tension, but with release, not with caution, but with ease. Touch from the heart dissolves walls, softens fears, and awakens a deep sense of belonging. It is not about possession. It is about devotion. Think about the difference between being touched out of habit and being touched out of love. One feels routine, mechanical, empty. The other feels alive, warm, unforgettable. When love fuels touch, it becomes a sacred act, even in the smallest forms. A hand brushing yours at the table, an arm wrapping around you when you least expect it, a kiss placed on your forehead with tenderness. These are not grand gestures, but they hold immeasurable power. They remind you that love is not only spoken in moments of passion, but in everyday acts of closeness. Touch from the heart also creates safety for vulnerability. When a man holds you gently, when he embraces you without condition, when he touches you not to claim, but to comfort, you feel free to open more deeply. You feel that you are not just desired, you are cared for. You are not just wanted, you are treasured. This is the difference between intimacy as an act and intimacy as a connection. One fades quickly, the other grows endlessly. And here lies the truth. Touch communicates what words cannot. It bypasses the mind and speaks directly to the soul. It tells you that love is not only in declarations, but in actions, not only in conversation, but in closeness. When a man makes love from his heart, every touch becomes a promise, every embrace becomes a home, every kiss becomes a reminder that you are not alone. In this way, love becomes something you can feel in every part of your being, not because it is demanded, but because it is given freely, not because it is routine, but because it is sacred. Touch infused with love is not about fleeting pleasure. It is about lasting connection. It is about creating moments that live in memory, moments that heal, moments that remind you that true love is not only seen or heard, but deeply, undeniably felt. There's another sign of love that cannot be faked, and it reveals itself in the way a man gives his time. Time is the most valuable thing we own because once it is given, it cannot be taken back. A man who loves from his heart does not make you compete with his distractions, his ambitions, or his comfort. He chooses you. He invests his time not because he has to, but because he wants to. Every moment spent with you becomes a declaration that you are a priority, not an option. This is powerful because in a world that glorifies busyness, giving time is the ultimate act of devotion. Anyone can buy gifts, anyone can send messages, but time demands sacrifice. It demands rearranging priorities. It demands saying no to lesser things so that greater things can be honored. When a man loves from his heart, his schedule reflects it. He does not just squeeze you in, he makes space for you. That space is sacred because it says, you matter more than the noise, more than the endless demands, more than everything else that fights for my attention. Psychology tells us that shared time strengthens attachment bonds. Couples who create intentional time together build deeper trust, greater intimacy, and longer lasting relationships. This is because time is not just measured in minutes. It is measured in presence, in focus, in quality. It is the laughter shared in a simple conversation, the silence that feels comfortable instead of empty, the hours that pass unnoticed because connection has made them timeless. Love from the heart understands this truth. Time spent together is the foundation on which loyalty and intimacy grow. Think of how it feels when someone truly gives you their time. It tells you that you are valued. It tells you that you are more important than the endless scroll, the crowded to-do list, the lure of temporary pleasures. It tells you that you are not a background detail. You are the center of attention. That gift of time builds confidence in love because it proves devotion not in words, but in action. A man can say you matter, but when he invests his hours, his evenings, his mornings, his attention, he shows you that you truly do. This act of devotion also creates memories that last long after the moment ends. The dinners, the walks, the late night talks, the quiet mornings, these become the threads that weave a bond too strong to break. When love is given time, it deepens, it breathes, it grows roots. And those roots keep a relationship steady even when storms come. Without time, love weakens. With time, love flourishes. When a man makes love from the heart, his time becomes his testimony. It is not about how grand the moments look to the outside world. It is about how intentional they feel to you. You feel seen, chosen, and prioritized. You feel that you are not competing with the rest of life, but that you are life to him. And in that realization, trust blooms, intimacy strengthens, and your heart learns that real love does not just promise, it shows up. Because love, when true, always invests its most precious resource, time. Love from the heart also reveals itself through patience. Patience is not passive. It is one of the strongest forms of love because it requires restraint, understanding, and empathy. When a man loves with depth, he does not rush you through your feelings, your growth, or your healing. He waits not out of obligation, but out of respect for your journey. His patience is proof that his love is not fragile. It does not break under delay. It does not wither when tested. It does not demand that everything happen on his timeline. It holds steady because it is rooted in something real. This kind of patience is rare because it pushes against the culture of instant gratification. We live in a world where people want quick results, quick pleasure, quick fixes. But love that comes from the heart knows that what is real cannot be rushed. Deep intimacy takes time. Trust takes time. Healing takes time. And a man who loves from his heart is willing to walk with you through the slow, sometimes difficult process of becoming. His love says, I see who you are today, and I believe in who you are becoming tomorrow. That belief creates safety. It frees you to grow without fear of abandonment. Psychology shows that patience is a marker of emotional maturity. Those who can delay gratification, who can resist the urge to control, create stronger bonds and healthier relationships. Why? Because patience communicates value. It says, you are worth waiting for. Your pace matters. Your feelings matter. This is not weakness. It is strength. It takes strength to quiet the ego, to silence the urge to demand, to remain steady when things take longer than expected. Patience, in its truest form, is love refusing to give up. Think about how it feels when someone is patient with you. You breathe easier. The pressure fades. You feel accepted as you are, not judged for where you should be. That acceptance is liberating because it tells you that you do not have to perform to be loved. You can stumble, you can struggle, you can take time to heal, and still, love remains. That kind of patience makes intimacy deeper because it is not built on perfection. It is built on endurance. When a man practices patience, he gives you the gift of stability. His calm presence during storms tells you that you are not alone. His willingness to wait for closeness instead of forcing it tells you that your comfort matters more than his urgency. His ability to stay consistent over time tells you that his love is not fleeting, it is anchored. And in that anchor, you find peace. You find the courage to trust, the courage to open, the courage to love more fully in return. Patience does not mean passivity. It does not mean doing nothing. It means choosing love over frustration, understanding over pressure, commitment over convenience. It means standing steady while the relationship grows at its natural pace. When a man makes love from the heart, patience becomes the rhythm of his devotion. He knows that what is real cannot be rushed, and so he waits, not because he has to, but because you are worth it. And in that waiting, love deepens, roots strengthen, and the bond becomes unshakable. When love is real, it does not hide behind pride. A man who loves from the heart shows humility because he understands that love is not about winning, controlling, or proving. It is about giving, learning, and growing together. Humility in love means lowering defenses, admitting mistakes, and valuing connection more than ego. It means saying, I was wrong. not because it is easy, but because the relationship matters more than being right. This humility is a quiet strength, a courage that allows love to flourish without the walls of pride suffocating it. True humility in love creates space for vulnerability. When a man lays down his ego, he makes room for honesty, for tenderness, for truth. He does not pretend to be perfect. He does not pretend to have all the answers. Instead, he shows up as he is, flawed, learning, human, and in doing so, he gives you permission to be the same. This is powerful because real intimacy does not live in perfection. It lives in authenticity. When both hearts can be bare, when both can be seen without masks, love becomes deeper, purer, more enduring. Psychologists recognize that humility is tied to stronger, healthier relationships. Pride creates conflict, resentment, and distance. Humility builds cooperation, understanding, and unity. A man who can admit his weaknesses, who can apologize sincerely, who can place your needs beside his own, creates safety. His humility says, this relationship is not about me winning, it's about us growing. And in that truth, trust blooms. You know his love is not selfish because he chooses connection over control. Think about the difference this makes. Pride creates walls, humility builds bridges. Pride silences communication. Humility invites dialogue. Pride keeps love shallow. Humility makes love deep. When a man shows humility and love, you feel it in the way he listens, in the way he adjusts, in the way he shows gratitude instead of entitlement. He does not take love for granted. He honors it, and that honor makes you feel respected, valued, and cherished. Humility also fuels forgiveness. A man who loves from the heart does not hold on to grudges as weapons. He does not punish you with silence or use mistakes to gain power. Instead, he forgives with sincerity because he knows love cannot thrive in bitterness. He understands that mistakes do not erase worth, and that forgiveness is not weakness, it is strength. His humility allows him to see the bigger picture, that protecting love is more important than protecting pride. This quality creates peace. It removes unnecessary battles, softens harsh moments, and allows both hearts to rest. You do not fear constant conflict because his humility ensures that reconciliation always outweighs division. You do not fear being dismissed because his humility ensures your voice is heard. This kind of love creates stability, not through dominance, but through partnership. It creates equality, not through demand, but through devotion. When a man makes love from the heart, his humility becomes the ground on which love stands firm. It allows intimacy to expand without the weight of ego crushing it. It allows trust to deepen without fear of judgment. It allows passion to flourish without competition overshadowing it. Humility is not weakness. It is the greatest strength because it proves that his love is greater than his pride. And when love rises above pride, it becomes unbreakable. Love that comes from the heart is always expressed through protection, not in the sense of control, but in the sense of care. A man who loves deeply does not shield you because he doubts your strength. He shields you because he treasures your peace. His protection is not about possession, it is about devotion. He stands between you and harm, not to limit you, but to free you. He wants you to live without fear, to rest knowing someone is watching over you, to feel safe enough to expand into the fullest version of yourself. This kind of protection is powerful because it speaks to one of the deepest human needs, the need for safety. Without safety, love cannot flourish. Without safety, vulnerability cannot exist. And without vulnerability, intimacy cannot thrive. A man who loves from his heart understands this truth instinctively. He makes you feel secure, not only physically, but emotionally and spiritually. He protects your body, yes, but he also protects your heart from neglect, your dreams from dismissal, your trust from betrayal. His presence becomes a shield that allows you to soften, to let go, to be fully yourself without hesitation. Psychology shows us that when we feel safe, our nervous system relaxes, our stress lowers, and our capacity to connect expands. Safety is the soil of intimacy. It allows two people to risk closeness without fear of rejection or harm. That is why protection from the heart is so transformative. It does not confine, it liberates. It gives you the freedom to trust more, love more, and grow more. It creates an environment where passion and peace can exist side by side, where intensity is matched with gentleness, and where love can deepen without walls of fear holding it back. Think about the way it feels when you know someone has your back completely. You walk lighter, you breathe deeper, you rest easier. That assurance creates confidence not just in the relationship, but in yourself. You dare to dream bigger because you know you have support. You dare to open wider because you know you are guarded with care. You dare to love harder because you know your heart is safe in his hands. That is the gift of protection born from love. It turns uncertainty into trust and fear into strength. This protection is not loud or boastful. It is not about dominance or control. It is quiet, steady, unwavering. It shows up in small acts, checking in when you are tired, standing by you in difficult times, defending you when others doubt, choosing your well-being over his convenience. It is not about proving power. It is about proving love. And in those small but consistent acts, you realize that true protection is not about building walls around you, but about creating a foundation under you. When a man makes love from the heart, his protection is not a cage. It is a shelter. It is not a limit. It is a covering. It does not shrink your world. It expands it because you know you are free to move through life without fear of being abandoned or unguarded. This is the kind of protection that transforms love into a sanctuary, a place where you are safe to rest, safe to rise, safe to love without hesitation. And in that sanctuary, love does not just survive, it thrives, unshakable, eternal, alive. Another undeniable mark of love from the heart is consistency. Love that is real does not appear only when it is convenient, nor does it vanish when challenges arise. It shows up every day in ways both great and small. A man who loves deeply does not make you guess where you stand. His presence, his words, his actions align with a steady rhythm that assures you of his devotion. Consistency is what turns promises into trust, gestures into security, and moments into a lasting bond. Consistency matters because the human heart craves stability. Without it, fear takes root. Inconsistency breeds doubt, and doubt erodes intimacy. But when love is constant, it removes uncertainty and replaces it with peace. You no longer question if the connection is real. You know it is because his actions repeat the truth again and again. He doesn't just love you when it's easy. He loves you when it's hard. He doesn't just show up when the world is calm. He shows up when the storms rage. His steadiness becomes an anchor for your heart, a reassurance that you are not walking alone. Psychologists confirm that consistency is essential for secure attachment. Relationships thrive when actions are predictable, when love is not a roller coaster of highs and lows, but a steady current that carries two people forward. This predictability does not make love boring. It makes it safe, and safety allows passion to grow deeper without fear of sudden collapse. Consistency is what separates fleeting attraction from lifelong devotion. It is the proof that words are not empty, that love is not temporary, that commitment is not conditional. Think of the power in knowing that someone will always show up, that when you call, he answers. When you stumble, he steadies you. When you are silent, he still sees you. That kind of constancy builds trust that no obstacle can shake. It creates a bond where you no longer waste energy questioning loyalty because the answer is lived out daily. You are free to love more fully, to open more deeply, to rest more completely because his actions have proven what his heart declares. Consistency also deepens respect. It tells you that his love is not based on fleeting moods or shifting circumstances. It is not dependent on convenience or personal gain. Instead, it is rooted in choice, a daily decision to love, to honor, to remain. That decision builds a foundation that nothing can easily destroy. You know that even when disagreements come, even when life gets heavy, his love will not disappear. That is the strength of consistency. It turns uncertainty into stability and stability into intimacy that grows stronger over time. When a man makes love from the heart, his consistency is a reflection of his integrity. He does not say one thing and do another. He does not love only when it benefits him. His steadiness proves that his love is not just a feeling, it is a commitment. And in that commitment, you find peace, you find trust, you find the kind of security that allows love to deepen without limit. Consistency is not glamorous, but it is powerful. It is the quiet force that transforms love from a fleeting spark into an unshakable flame that burns steady, strong, and eternal. Love from the heart is also revealed through gratitude. A man who loves deeply does not take you for granted. He does not treat your presence as an entitlement, but as a gift. Every smile, every effort, every moment of connection becomes something he values. Gratitude shifts the way he sees you. not as someone ordinary, but as someone extraordinary. His thankfulness is not just in words, but in how he honors you, how he notices the little things, how he cherishes what many would overlook. Gratitude transforms love because it magnifies appreciation. When a man is grateful, he does not focus on what is missing. He focuses on what is present. He sees the beauty in your flaws, the meaning in your efforts, the wonder in your existence. This outlook creates a powerful dynamic. Instead of expecting perfection, he celebrates presence. Instead of criticizing, he admires. Instead of demanding, he appreciates. That appreciation nurtures the relationship because it fuels joy instead of resentment. Psychology teaches us that gratitude strengthens relationships by increasing satisfaction and reducing conflict. People who feel appreciated are more likely to feel secure, valued, and invested. Gratitude creates a positive cycle. The more appreciation is expressed, the more love deepens. When a man shows gratitude from his heart, he sends a message that says, I see you, I recognize you, I treasure you. That recognition feeds the soul, reminding you that your efforts matter, your presence matters, your love matters. Think of how it feels when someone truly notices you, not just in grand gestures, but in the quiet moments. The way you laugh, the way you care, the way you show up. Being seen in that way fills the heart with warmth. It creates a sense of belonging. It reminds you that you are not invisible, that your contributions are not overlooked, that your existence is celebrated. Gratitude makes love feel alive because it ensures nothing is taken for granted. A man who loves from the heart expresses gratitude not only when things are easy, but also when challenges come. He appreciates the lessons, the growth, the resilience built together. He thanks you not only for what you do, but for who you are. That depth of appreciation creates intimacy because it tells you that you are not being measured by standards. You are being valued for your essence. Gratitude like this makes you feel safe, cherished, and irreplaceable. Gratitude also softens conflicts and strengthens forgiveness. When gratitude is alive, love outweighs frustration. Instead of focusing on flaws, he focuses on blessings. Instead of holding on to bitterness, he holds on to appreciation. This mindset creates space for healing because gratitude reminds both hearts of what truly matters. It keeps perspective clear. Love is greater than any moment of disappointment, and connection is worth more than pride. When a man makes love from the heart, gratitude becomes the atmosphere of the relationship. It shows up in his words, in his actions, in the way he looks at you with recognition and reverence. It is not forced, it flows naturally because he is deeply aware of the treasure he holds. And in that gratitude, love grows stronger. It deepens, it steadies, it transforms into a bond that is both joyful and enduring. Gratitude is not just an emotion. It is the fuel that keeps love alive, vibrant, and eternal. Love that comes from the heart is revealed in the way a man supports your dreams. True love does not shrink in the shadow of ambition, nor does it fear your growth. Instead, it fuels it. A man who loves deeply does not compete with your vision. He contributes to it. He does not dismiss your goals. He believes in them. His love says, your dreams matter to me because you matter to me. That belief becomes a foundation where both hearts rise higher together. Support is powerful because it touches one of the most vulnerable parts of the human spirit, the desire to be believed in. Every person carries dreams, yet many also carry doubt, and doubt is heavy. But when a man stands beside you with unwavering encouragement, the weight lifts. His faith in you becomes a mirror that reflects back your potential. You begin to see yourself more clearly, more confidently, because his love reminds you that you are capable of more than your fear allows. Psychology shows that having a supportive partner increases confidence, resilience, and life satisfaction. Support acts like oxygen to dreams. It keeps them alive when self-doubt threatens to suffocate them. A man who loves from his heart knows this. That is why he celebrates your victories, no matter how small, and reminds you of your strength when you forget. He pushes you, not out of pressure, but out of love. He believes in your future, even when you are standing in the uncertainty of the present. Think about how it feels when someone truly stands behind you. You no longer carry your battles alone. You no longer question whether your aspirations are foolish. You no longer feel isolated in your pursuit. His support becomes proof that your dreams are not just possible, they are worth fighting for. That encouragement creates intimacy because it shows that he does not love only who you are today. He also loves who you are becoming. Support is not just words, it is action. It is listening to your fears without judgment. It is reminding you of your progress when you want to quit. It is celebrating your growth instead of feeling threatened by it. It is stepping into the background when needed, not to disappear, but to make space for your light to shine. That kind of love is expansive, not restrictive. It creates a relationship where both souls are free to rise, free to evolve, free to become more without losing each other. This form of love also strengthens trust. When a man invests in your dreams, he proves that he is not only concerned with his own path, but with the shared journey. He shows that his love is not selfish, but supportive, not limiting, but liberating. That trust deepens intimacy because it tells you that he is not afraid of your growth. He welcomes it. And when love welcomes growth, it never grows stagnant. It continues to expand, to flourish, to transform into something more powerful than before. When a man makes love from the heart, his support is unwavering. He is not intimidated by your strength. He is inspired by it. He is not threatened by your vision. He is invested in it. He does not stand in your way. He walks beside you, cheering, guiding, believing. That kind of love does more than comfort. It empowers. It elevates. It creates a partnership where both hearts rise higher together, proving that true love is not about limiting each other's dreams, but about building a life where both can thrive. A man who loves from the heart also chooses vulnerability. He does not hide behind walls of pride or masks of perfection. He understands that real intimacy is not built on pretending to be unbreakable, but on having the courage to be seen as he truly is. Vulnerability is the highest form of trust because it exposes what is most fragile. And when a man opens that part of himself, he is saying, I trust you with my truth. I trust you with my heart. So many people fear vulnerability because it feels like weakness, but in reality, it is strength in its purest form. To show your fears, your insecurities, your past wounds, and your unpolished truths requires more courage than any display of power. Psychology confirms this. Vulnerability creates emotional closeness. It allows connection to go beyond the surface, beyond the roles we play, and into the space where souls actually meet. A man who chooses vulnerability chooses real love over illusion, authenticity over performance, and depth over distance. When he shares his inner world, he invites you to see him not as an image, but as a human. You see the doubts he battles, the scars he carries, the dreams he holds close. And in that sharing, he allows intimacy to grow because he trusts you to hold those truths gently. That trust transforms the relationship. It creates a space where both can breathe without fear, where both can be honest without shame, where both can be flawed yet fully accepted. Think of what happens when someone allows you into the private rooms of their soul. You no longer see just the exterior. They let you into the places they don't show the world. That access is sacred. It is an offering that says, you matter enough to see who I really am. When a man does this, he shows that his love is not about impressing you, but about connecting with you. It is not about guarding his image, but about building a true feel bond. Vulnerability also invites reciprocity. When he opens his heart, you feel safe to open yours. When he shows you his struggles, you feel free to reveal your own. That mutual exchange builds a relationship that is not fragile but resilient because it is grounded in truth, not performance. And truth has a strength that lies cannot match. It does not crumble under pressure because it is real. Love, born from vulnerability, is steady because it carries no hidden masks. There are no secrets that build distance, no pretenses that create doubt, no facades that fracture trust. Instead, there is openness, honesty, and the courage to face life together in full humanity. That courage fuels intimacy because it strips away the illusions that keep love shallow. It invites a connection that is raw, deep, and enduring. When a man makes love from the heart, his vulnerability becomes his strength. He does not fear being seen, he embraces it. He does not hide what hurts. He shares it. He does not build walls, he builds bridges. And in doing so, he creates a love that is real, a love that is resilient, a love that withstands the storms of life because it was built on truth. That is the kind of love that does not fade. That is the kind of love that endures. Love from the heart reveals itself in the way a man listens, not with half his attention, not with distracted nods, but with the full weight of his presence. Real listening is more than waiting for a chance to reply. It is a choice to enter into another person's world, to hear not only their words, but their emotions, to sense what is said and what is left unsaid. When a man listens with his heart, he is saying your voice matters, your feelings matter, you matter. Listening creates safety because it validates the human need to be understood. Psychology teaches that feeling heard is one of the strongest predictors of relationship satisfaction. It is not enough to be spoken to. We long to be received. We long to know that our inner world has landed in the heart of another, that we are not alone with our thoughts, our fears, or our desires. When a man listens deeply, he fulfills that need. He offers more than attention, he offers understanding. In that understanding, connection grows. You feel less like you are carrying life by yourself and more like you are walking in partnership. You no longer question if your feelings are too much or your dreams too big, because his listening assures you that your inner world is worthy of space. He does not try to silence you, fix you, or rush you. He simply holds the space so you can unfold. That kind of listening is love in action because it shows a willingness to set aside his own ego and make room for yours. True listening requires humility. It requires laying down the need to be right and lifting up the desire to understand. It means quieting the noise of one's own thoughts to receive another's truth fully. A man who loves from the heart chooses this humility because he knows that relationships are not built on winning arguments, but on building bridges. Every time he listens deeply, he strengthens trust. And every time trust is strengthened, love deepens. Think of the difference between being dismissed and being heard. One wounds, the other heals. One creates distance, the other builds closeness.